Okay. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the Siyum. And in case you're wondering why we're doing a Siyum in the 9 days when you're supposed to be Memat and Besimcha. So there's a Hasidic custom that various Hasidim have, and Chabad it's very strong, that we are Memayit the negative energy of the 9 days Besimcha through the Simcha of Torah. So we dafka have Siyum, and we don't dafka eat meat. Some Hasidim dafka eat meat, but we don't dafka eat meat. But the Rebbe encouraged to have a Siyum actually every one of the 9 days, even Tisha B'Av. No, to participate in the Siyum. Even Tisha B'Av, because there's certain things you're allowed to learn on Tisha B'Av. You're allowed to learn Moed Cotton, and the Siyum of it, I think, is part of what you're allowed to learn. So it's a Machaya, as well as till Tu B'Av, if possible. So the Siyum that I'm doing is actually a Siyum Mishnayos, but at the same time, it's also a Siyum of a Seder Nezikin, because in the Daf Yomi, we learned every Masechta of Nezikin, besides 2, which are only Mishnayos, Avos, which we learn in the summer anyway, and Eduyos, which is only Mishnayos. So by finishing Masechta Eduyos, I'll also be finishing the Seder of Nezikin. Yes, so here goes. First, I'll just share with you an interesting Mishnah that is not at the end, but I just found interesting, where Akavya ben Mahalalel was arguing with the Chachamim about 3 things. And they put him in Chayrim actually because he refused to back down on his opinion. And they even put a stone on his Aron to show that they held he deserved skila because he refused to back down. It's like a Zaken Mamre. He didn't actually paskin, but he... No Baskal. But, and he said he wouldn't back down because he heard Mipiha Merubim, and therefore he's not going to back down, even though they are now the Roiv, but he heard from the Roiv. Anyway, but before he passed away, he told his son, I heard from the Merubim, so I have to paskin my way. But you didn't. You only heard from me, so you should go in with everybody else. So his son said to him, tell everybody to be makar of me. They shouldn't be marachik me, since you were on the other side of the fence. They're gonna maybe think I'm on the other side of the fence. So tell them that I'm a good guy. Amar Lai, he said, Any mafkidna, I'm not gonna do that. So Amar Lai said Shema Ila Matzasabi, maybe you found something wrong with me that you don't think I deserve to be niskar about Chachamim. He said, no, Amalei Lav, Ela Masecha Yikarvucha, Masecha Yirach Akucha. No protexia, he said. Your own actions will cause you to be drawn close by the Chachamim or to be made distant. That's up to you. You have to prove yourself. I'm not speaking on your behalf. So that was very interesting. And finally, we come to the last Mishnah. Amar Bishua says, the Sefta Ediyos, by the way, is all the Ediyos that were given on the day that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah took over, when they deposed Rabbi Gamliel because of the whole machlok he said of the Bishua. So on that day, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah invited everybody to talk. Whoever wanted to talk could talk. Rabbi Gamliel had a strict order, and it wasn't so simple. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah invited everybody to talk, and everybody gave their eduyos, their testimonials. Rabbi Yeshua said, "Mekubal ani Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai sheshomem Rabbi Alochem b'Shem Sinai." Rabbi Yeshua said, "I have a Kabbalah from Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, heard from his teacher, from his teacher Alochem b'Shem Sinai. Shein Eliyahu ba l'tamei l'tar l'rachak l'karev." Eliyahu Navi is not going to come and say which person is tamei, which person is tahar, which family has to be brought close, which family has to be made distant. Rather, what he's going to do is he's going to make distant those that were forcibly made close and make close those that were forcibly made distant. Meaning to say, whatever is lost is lost. Whoever is mixed in, puzzle families are mixed into Klal Yisrael, he's not going to expose them. But if a family is really known to be kosher, but the mafia, the strong men, didn't like them, so they forcibly forced them out of Klal Yisrael. I mean, we don't really have that nowadays. But in those days, they had such people, or vice versa. There was a family that was really puzzled, but because they were mighty and powerful, they forced their way back in, and people would marry them. Eliyahu will sort that all out and put everybody in their place. For example, Mishpachas Beis Tzrifa Hoysa Be'evar Yarden. There was a family of Beis Tzrifa in Evar Yarden, and the Bnei Tzion, whoever they were, that gang forced them to be separated from Klal Yisrael, even though they were really kosher. There was another family. Notice there's no name given to this family because this family was actually puzzled. And the Mishnah doesn't want to say it, doesn't want to say the name. The Rambam points out how careful the Chachamim were. Even though they were puzzled, but because there was nothing to be done about it, because the mafia was forcing them to be accepted, so there's no point in being the farsim. The Kevu B'nei Tzion B'Zurah B'nei Tzion forced them into Klal Yisrael. Is going to make Tameh or Tar close or distant. Rabbi Yehuda says no. The Karim he's only going to bring people close but not distant. Even those that were forced in, he's not going to chase them out. So it's interesting. Why not? I mean, everybody apparently knows or knew that they didn't belong there, but that's not Eliyahu's job. Eliyahu's job is not to make anybody distant. Now, the Rambam points out, by the way, that there's not supposed to be any machloikis about a halacha l'Moshe Messinai. All halacha l'Moshe Messinai are supposed to be without argument. So therefore, he says that the halacha l'Moshe Messinai was that Eliyahu Navi is going to come and fix things up before Mashiach comes, or the beginning of Mashiach's coming, whatever it is. But there was, the halacha l'Moshe Messinai didn't include what exactly he's going to do. So there was a machlokes what exactly he's going to fix up. And that was based on different sukkim and so on. Reb Shimon Omer, lahashvus machlokes. Reb Shimon says not. He's not going to do any of that. He's not going to get involved in family politics. All he's going to do is paskin the machlokes. There's questions in the Gemaras that are not resolved, teku and so on, and other machlokes that are not resolved. Eliyahu is going to resolve those disputes. Chachamim say no. His job is not to make people close or far, rather to make peace amongst them, and of course also to tell us that Mashiach is coming. It says that I'm sending Eliyahu Navi before the great and awesome day comes. He'll return the hearts of the fathers to the sons and the sons to the fathers. And this is, this pasuk is also understood by the other Chachamim to be referring to the families that were made distant, so the fathers and sons should be brought back or whatever, but he understands it to mean the peace between the families and so on. That's what Eliyahu is going to restore. Slikala Masechta Edius Seder Nezikin Kulai. Mazel Tov. Got some l'chaim, some mezoinus, some shahakal, and then we'll get started. I don't know, it's Mishnayos. I don't know. I didn't really see. I don't know. It's not printed here, so Bashkach Patas, I'm not going to say. Yeah. I did because I have a shir, so we like to celebrate. We have an excuse to celebrate. We're not going to pass it up. It is the same the whole thing, but it's the seconds.
I'm sure he does.
Is it okay to have some wine over on this end?
I don't know about wine. Officially, you're allowed to have wine at a siyum, but it's only people that would have normally had wine anyway, and it's only a siyum that you're making in the course of your usual learning, not if you made it dafka during the 9 days. So it's a question about the wine, better not. All right, start with the mezainis. I didn't bring any plates though, so. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minim v'zenais.
Amen.
Amen.
I think it's 9. No, 8. Only 8.
חמוד רבי,
בבקשה.
מבורך. בבקשה תעביר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא מינים וזונות.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהכל יהיה בדברי. Chaim, we should have a Siman on the Gullus very quickly. Chaim.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם והכל נהיה בדברו.
Amen.
אמן.
Amen. Some ragala, or whatever they're called also.
אוקיי.
All right, gentlemen.
אני יודע שאתה אוהב את זה. בסדר, בטוח.
All right. Who's here? I heard Daniel. Who else? David is here. Good.
תגיד להם, הם יכולים לקחת כוסית אצלהם הבית, תעשה לחיים ככה.
Yeah, Yoram says you should say l'chaim. All right, my friends. Time to learn. All right, before we start, if you have any questions on the last 3 shiurim, now's your moment. Okay.
I heard the previous one. The only one.
No, there were 2.
Two. Saying the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
According to what you learned, you don't allow the food that's in the bottle border fruit, sliced fruit to add flavor. Correct?
Why not?
So you said to get expensive, like we're going to squeeze it and just come out. So we're talking about the grape. Or it's only about grape.
It's only a grape because the grape is going to burst. The other fruit don't burst.
Other fruit, yellow and orange juice, put slices of it in
You can do it. You can do it. They don't burst. Yeah.
So it was only.
Apparently. I never tried it. I don't know.
So it's only grape.
Only grapes that burst. I mean, it's a Trumas edition. I think it's Trumas edition. Yeah, I don't see why not.
So let's try.
Yeah. It's actually I think it's talking about grapes and wine. Grapes and wine.
Grapes and wine burst.
Yeah, that's what it's talking about. But I don't know if there's a difference. I don't know.
So slices of other fruits and also.
No, that's okay. Because basically there's no visible, like, change.
You can say the same thing on the wine, on the grape.
No, the grapes burst. Like the peels burst open and they...
And if you put sliced grape.
Sliced grape is okay?
Sliced grape is okay, but
Yeah.
it's always not.
Yeah. Because basically if it's going to look the same and there's just going to be an exchange of flavors, some in and some out, that's not a noticeable difference.
So it's only about whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can be hard and slice it.
Yeah. 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 Corn chips, everybody say. Yeah.
You don't fully open.
Yeah.
You just before. So basically it's still closed on top.
Yeah.
And it's poured in it. There's no water will penetrate inside.
It will. It will. I think it goes through the peel. I'm not sure, but I think.
But usually we'll say we're going to go from where you can take it from the opening on top. But if the opening is closed,
The truth is, I don't know. I'm guessing that it will burst anyway through the peel, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. We have to try it.
You will reverse only in wine or in water also?
I mean, in the Shulchan Aruch, he's talking about wine.
So I can put it in a bottle of water also, I can put it.
I don't know if there's a difference between water and wine. Let me just look it up and make sure I'm getting it right.
כן, כמובן. נשים בצלחת ואני לא שם רוצה, אני רוצה דווקא. זה? כל החבילה? אין בעיה. מה אתה עושה לו בחברה? בבקשה. תביא.
מבין?
זה מה כתוב.
אבל המנסנו ענב משלמה בגיגה זו בשבס ונספקו ביין ביין בוטר. יש שיש יין מהגידס מטעם זה. אבל לכתחילה עשו ליתן ענב משלמים ביין בשבס כדי שיספקו ויוזו ויינו. משום מסו סחיטה.
Only but wine, so can all other mushrooms, okay?
If it splits, it's not okay. The whole point is that if it splits, it's like you're goyrem schita.
So why did you mention only, because I mentioned other mushroom, only wine?
My guess is that they didn't.
Wine is something that's stronger than water. Maybe wine has the power to do it, but maybe water no.
My guess, this is just a guess. My guess is that when it comes to wine, they wanted to put grapes in wine to add more flavor to it. But in water, what's it going to add? Just a bit of grape flavor.
In the water, you're going to feel the flavor more than you're going to in the wine.
A bit of grape flavor. They didn't want grape flavored water. They wanted wine. So I don't think they did it, but I don't think it's a difference. It's really a question of begashmias. Does it split or not? That you have to do an experiment and find out. And if it does in water, it's a problem. If it doesn't, it's not. That's all. On Shabbos. That's the question.
No, but if you're putting it and using it in 2 hours, the grape, and nothing happened, it's fine. Let's say the grape to reverse, they need like 5-6 hours to be something in water. And you use it already in 2 hours or in 1 hour.
Could be it's okay. Could be it's okay. Do we make exera? I mean, by bishul we make exera that you shouldn't put it near the fire because you may forget. But there it's Issa deraisa. Here it's derabanan. Even if you leave it, it's only derabanan. So I don't know. Bakasha.
Let's assume you put this fruit in the kettle or in the bottle of water. And use all the water. And the fruit of it is not going to be the last cup that you use. It's going to be like water that you have left. Well,
What פעם לא הבנתי.
you put the kettle of water and bowl. You finish it all completely. And you have all the fruit left. You're not going to be all on the water. But even so, it's edible, but I'm not using it for eating because it's the flavor. So
But you're taking what you want.
solid,
You're taking what you want.
but I have left in my hand all the solid.
זה לא בעיה.
Say but what? Ice? Oh, we're talking about the kettles that they have the things that hold it. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't use those things that have the holder, that have the teeth to block it.
מים, סודה. או זה?
It's not a problem if you have
The general one.
something is left.
Yeah.
Or everything else.
It's two ways of learning Pshat in the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe says you're allowed to pour the fly out. Some say it's because whatever is left in your hand is what you're selecting. According to that, you wouldn't be allowed to pour out the rest of the water towards the end. But others say that what it means is that when you get rid of the psoilas by using the oichel, when you use the oichel to get rid of the psoilas, it's called boyer oichel. Even though what you pour out is what you're being boyer, but when you use the oichel to get rid of the psoilas, it's called boyer oichel. It's a special halacha. So it doesn't change the fact that what you're pouring out is what you're selecting. According to that way of understanding, you're allowed to pour it out. Okay. We are going to learn Seder. Seder on Shabbos.
What's the shop?
Shinta Zayin. Shinta Zayin Seder. Seder b'Shabbat. In the Mishkan, they did Seder with what? Chilazon. And what else? There's no Seder with sheep.
בשביל
It's a domestic animal.
הטלית, בשביל הציצית, לא? משהו.
Yeah, Chilazon. מה עוד?
Tachashi.
Tachash, exactly. Tachash was a wild animal. So there are some animals.
But the tachas was only at the time of the.
So what? So what? Still Tzeda. But it's not clear what a tachash is. Some say it was only at that time.
The Rashi says.
I think it's machlekes in the Gemara. I think it's different opinions in the Gemara. Rashi is quoting one of the opinions. So, what are the types of animals that have Seder de Araisa versus the ones that only have Seder de Rabbanon? Chaim. Amen. Amen. I'll give you a hint in Hebrew. Bimino nitzod.
Things that are usually trapped.
Exactly.
What a good hint.
Things that are usually trapped are the Araisa. Things that are not usually trapped are the Rabbanan. Examples? Give me some examples.
Deer.
Either one. Deer is usually trapped for sure.
Mosquitoes are not usually.
Mosquitoes are not usually trapped. Flies are not usually trapped. And the truth is that some people do trap flies. They don't trap them because they want them. They trap them because they want to get rid of them. We're talking about things that you trap because you want.
Those are like bees.
Bees is actually machlokes or shonim. Because on the one hand, you do trap them
You're not.
because you want their honey, but you never really trap them. Like you never really control them. They come and they go.
Sobach, you're not.
Oh yeah, they're never actually trapped.
I mean, they're in a hive. If they want to leave, they just leave.
Oh, but they're not in a bigger facility.
No. The whole thing is they have to go and collect. They have to go and collect to the flowers. So you kind of have them in your space, but you never really control them. So
Why are you actually? What's the side to say that you are trapped?
What's the side to say that you are trapping? Well, if you would cover the entire hive in a way that you don't let them go, some say you're over the Araisa, because in general, people try to control them. I don't know. It's something that people try to trap to the best of their ability, let's say, something like that.
Like if the deer go inside the house and you stand up, so you trap it, so not to go outside.
That's true.
But if your friend is standing next to you, is not chayav, you chayav only.
If you're the first one.
Yeah.
That's correct.
But if you leave, then you will be chayav too.
No,
The other one.
no.
No?
If he leaves, you can stay. If he leaves, you can stay.
No, but now because you stay, he doesn't come out.
Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference.
No?
You're not allowed to trap something, but once it's trapped, you're allowed to guard it.
Oh.
That's what we learned here. That's why we're learning.
Are we on, are we still on the same schedule? Meaning not date-wise, but subject-wise? Say that, kosher bar, mafar, kech, and lash.
Exactly. Okay, so
You're not.
1 second. I just to answer that question about bees, I'm gonna maybe draw a parallel to lions. Lions. When you put the lion into a cage, it's considered trapped, even though you can never really control a lion. Even in a cage, you go in there, you're in big trouble. You can control it to not leave, but you can't control it to actually get it, under your control. But because that's the way lions are considered trapped, it's trapped to the best of your ability, so it's considered trapped. So I'm just saying, maybe by bees, those Rishonim that hold that it is trapped, because that's the way bees are considered trapped, and people do it that way. So that's perhaps this far. Okay, we spoke about also sizes of enclosures. Some sizes are asar mid'oraisa, to trap them into. Some sizes are asar mid'rabbanan, and some are not asar at all. Anybody can help me out with this?
Like if the fly going in a drawer, you're allowed to close it because he's not trapped.
That's a machlokes.
It's not that.
It's a good start, though. It's a good start.
Any place it has to be hunting. Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
One cross, right?
Exactly. If it's a close enough space that you can catch it within that space with one run, without having to catch your breath and run again, without having to make any tricks or special plans, then it's considered trapped. If it's a place that it's enclosed, but it can still run around and you have to figure out a way how to catch it, then it's only d'Rabbanan. If it's a totally wide open space that it doesn't even feel trapped at all, then it's not even asr. So, in practice, a bird in a house is not considered trapped d'oraisa, but is considered trapped d'Rabbanan, because you could still, it can be so easy, but you could still get it.
It's like a kind of chicken in your room.
That's true.
It's not gonna be easy.
That's true. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be a lot easier than if it's outside. So this is what it is. Okay. I read an interesting discussion in the Dirshu. What if it's in a area that is not Asar D'Oraisa, but is Asar D'Rabbanan, because it's too big to catch it at once, but it's nevertheless trapped in there somewhat. Can you get it into a smaller area where it's still not trapped in D'Oraisa, but it's smaller? You know what I'm saying? So in the first area, you would have to run maybe 10 times to catch it. The second area, you can run maybe 2 or 3 times, but not once. So there's machlokes. Some say you didn't really do the real Seder yet. You only did Seder D'Rabbanan. So some say, well, because you're not going over the ma'avar, you're not crossing the boundary between D'Oraisa and D'Rabbanan, it's not Seder because you didn't do anything.
Like is in
D'Rabbanan you already did, and D'Oraisa you didn't do yet, so there's no difference. That's what Shlomo Zalman. Others say no. The easier you make it to trap is all in Issa D'Rabbanan. Yes.
like is in a living room and you want to put him in a bed, one bedroom small.
Exactly.
This
A bird, exactly. A smaller space, correct. So that's a little bit of a machlokes. Okay.
Who says that it would be a problem?
I think of Nissen Karelitz, if I'm not mistaken.
Who else would it be?
Shlomo Zalman. Pretty sure it's in the Dirshu. Pretty sure.
Someone told me a rule recently. I don't know if it's a rule or if you just said it and I
Yep.
just took it as a rule.
Yep.
But when something's Darabanan,
Uh-huh.
and there's a machlokas achronim, what do we do?
Mhm.
Since it's machlokas, when something's Darabanan, so we can go lenient. But I mean, I don't know if that's, obviously for everyone according to their own whatever, but like in this situation,
There is such a klal. The Rambam says it. Whenever there's a machlekes that's not resolved, the Rambam says if it's deraisa, you're machmer, it's Rabbanan, you make them.
right, that's a very famous cloud.
I'm saying so.
Saying it's the same thing here. There's no one saying that this is a deraisa, that's for sure, right?
No.
The situation itself.
Can't be in a deraisa.
No one traps
No, people trap birds. Of course they do.
birds.
But you're not bringing it into a small enough space where it should be considered trapped deraisa. That's what I'm saying.
You can never bring it to a space.
And you can never. You're not. I'm talking about a case where you
In
didn't.
this case, you can't bring it to a situation. where
You're bringing it from
the
the.
swoop of your body going out.
You're bringing it from a bigger room to a smaller room, but to trap it, you still have to run around like crazy to get it. So it's not actually trapped in deraisa. That's the case with hope.
But only deraisa you can trap it.
Deraisa is to get in the cage.
And
The deraisa is to get in a cage. A bird until it's in a cage is not trapped. You know what I'm saying? So that you actually have it. So this would be something like that, yeah. Although, I don't know, I kind of feel that Rav Shlomo Zalman always has the edge when it comes to Shabbos. I don't know, because he's just like the expert in Hilchot Shabbos. You know, like every Rav has their expertise. You know what I'm saying? Shlomo Zalman just kind of, I guess because of the Shmir Shabbos Kol Chasei, which became so famous, that in my mind he's like the Hilchot Shabbos expert. But I don't have a source to say that as a fact. I just have that.
saying if this was Choshen Mishpat, you would go like.
Choshen Mishpat, you can always say Kimli. You can always say, whoever has the money doesn't have to give it up. Okay. Sorry?
The word seems clear, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about different ways of trapping. If you trap with a dog, if a dog helps you hunt,
I think you have to because
You cannot.
if you do it with the dog's help, in other words, you run and the dog runs and together you catch it, that's deraisa. If you don't do anything, you just send the dog and the dog does everything, that's derabanan. But in any case, it's brought down that it's not the Jewish way to go hunting, and a person who does that, even during the week, is not going to be zoicha to the seudas levyasan. You can't have too much fun in this world, because if you do, that detracts from the fun in the next world, the real fun.
Do you think that's really the reason? Fun? It just seems like a disgusting, cruel thing. Meaning, I'm not saying it's disgusting and cruel, but it just sounds, comparatively speaking, to play basketball,
Right.
not a very proper sport.
I don't know if it's about the cruelty per se. I don't know, because I think even those that there's a machlokes about tzar b'alechaim if it applies to killing animals. Some say tzar b'alechaim only applies to when they're alive, giving them pain, but killing them, that's not. But I don't think this relates to that machlokes. In other words, even if you say that it's not tzar b'alechaim per se, but it's a Gentile type of activity that is not considered a Jewish way of
Is
doing
there
things.
another one of those?
The king used to go hunting.
Which king?
Who's king?
David?
He used to go hunting.
David? Yeah, David hunted a deer. That's what it says. But he wanted to eat it. It wasn't just for.
That's it, that he got locked himself in a room. Let's say like the door, push the door and go. You can push the door to go in, but to go out, you have to pull the door. The animal cannot do it. So basically, the door is considered as locked. By you opening the door and go inside, you consider like you're locking hunting again? Should we open it?
If it's a situation like that,
It's your house, you wanna go in?
if it's a situation like that, if you want to open the door and not close and not let the deer out, you probably want to let the deer out because it's probably making a total churban out of your house.
They didn't know that the deer is there yet.
So here's the rule. Once you open the door with enough space for the deer to get out, not allowed to close it. Once it's open, you can't close it. If, however, you know that it's there and you want to keep it inside, what you have to do is you have to open it, and as you're opening it, move into the doorway so it can't get out, and then close it behind you as you're leaving the doorway. So it never was able to get out. That's the way.
Every door to want to close by yourself. You don't do anything.
Not pasha.
I'm just asking.
You open it, you know it's going to close. Not pasha. Not pasha. The thing is, this is very negea, actually. We don't have too many deer in Miami. But this is very negea in terms of people who buy pets. And the pets are not yet trained. You need to say they're running away. They're not happy yet in your house. So you're not allowed to close the door. Once you open the door, you're not allowed to close it.
Sometimes people have pets and deer pictures, they're just coming, they're locking in the bathroom. So I think.
What was the thing you said about the deer in the house again? Because if it's in the house, you can stand in the doorway and then shut the door or something like that?
I'll explain that one more time in a minute. I just want to explain again my situation. I'm talking about pets that are not yet domesticated in your house. They're not comfortable yet in your house. If there's a pet that is comfortable in your house, he doesn't run away from you, he behaves, and you just don't want him around this company because you're afraid he's going to nudge them and bite them or scream at them, whatever. So that's not a problem to put them in the bathroom because it's like, you put a kid in the bathroom. That doesn't mean you're trapping him. It just means you're keeping him away from trouble. But if it's a pet that is not yet trained, so then it's a problem. In terms of what to do, so once again, David, I was just saying, Daniel, sorry, that when you have a pet in your house or any animal in your house that is considered wild, if you want to be able to open the door and close it in a permissible way, you have to fill the doorway with your body as you're opening it and close it as you go in or out and not leave it open enough for the animal to get out at any time. Because if you do, at that moment, it's not considered trapped anymore. And then when you close it, you're trapping it.
That wouldn't work for small animals that can fit in the size.
Oh, but the animal's already in the house. That's
Like what? Yeah, I'm talking about if the animal's in the house.
Like a cat, like a rabbit, like a small dog. Any size that you're going to be able to walk into a door is the size that it'll be able to escape if you left it that size.
If you open the door just for your body to get in, you close it.
This much.
He's afraid. He's not going to walk.
Oh, at that time?
At that time, yeah. The point is, if you're in the doorway, even if he has that much space that he could run out, but if he's not going to because he's afraid of you, that's also considered that he's still trapped. You know what I'm saying?
As if there's no space and you squeeze yourself, it's okay?
Yeah.
Oh. Hidush.
Okay. So, how about hunting, trapping with a trap?
It's also chayav.
So if
you put it before Shabbos, it's fine.
If you put it before Shabbos, it's fine. If you put it on Shabbos, chas v'shalom, and as you're putting it out, the animal gets trapped, that's d'oraisa. Whereas if you just put it out, the animal gets trapped on its own, that's d'rabbanan. Now,
So you chayav anyway, right? Rabbanan or the right you chayav.
no, chayav is d'oraita, fatur aval asur is d'rabbanan. No korban. No korban is d'rabbanan. Now, I did see some of the achronim also in the deer shoe, want to say maybe it's allowed to trap a mouse this way on Shabbos, to put a trap.
On Shabbat?
Well, they want to say it's melacha she'en tzarich legufa. You don't need the mouse. It's also davar she'ein b'mina nitzoid. Nowadays, people don't make anything out of out of mouse leather. Maybe in the olden days when they didn't have so much leather around, they made stuff. But nowadays, they don't really do that. So it's davar she'ein b'mina nitzoid, and it's only a grama. You're not actually trapping it; you're causing it to be trapped. So it's a double derabbanan with a grama, and it's for Oineg Shabbos because it bothers you that there's a mouse running around your house. So some of the Achronim want to permit it.
So they will also allow to kill mosquitoes?
No, not kill.
Mosquitoes?
Kill is an Issa Dairais.
I think most of the Rebbe should be careful because I know there's traps of kill.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about killing. No. I'm not talking about killing. I'm talking about a very kind trap that treats the animals very nicely, a box that closes it. And one of the Achronim even says, the poor mouse, once it's trapped, you should feed it. Tzar Balei Chayim. Not nice.
Yes, cheese already.
Whatever. If you finish the cheese. If you finish the cheese, you should feed it. But I'm not talking about killing it. Can't kill it.
What was the other reason besides saying it's something which is not usually trapped?
It's also melacha she'en tzarich legufa. You don't need the body of the mouse. You have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it melacha she'en tzarich legufa. We're going to learn more about it. All right.
Can you put it in one of those traps that it would clamp on it? On Shabbos, maybe it'll die. Maybe one. What? Why? I've never seen this. More blood? So every time I've never seen that.
I mean, they're designed to kill them. Isn't that what they're designed to do?
Trap them in a very forcible way. I guess depending on the size of the mice and mouse. It's a big
I don't know.
Send it with a small mouse.
The issue is also that when it comes to Chabola, when it comes to causing bodily injury, any animal that has skin, which is basically all animals, all large animals as opposed to insects, whatever, when you cause it to bleed, even internal bleeding is considered a Issa D'Oraisa of Shoichet. So that's a problem. There goes the trap. Yeah, you have to have one of those like
Clamp trap.
those
You have to have the box trap.
the box traps.
Goes in and closes the door.
Yeah, they even have a name or something. The have a heart.
Check in, they don't check out.
Yeah. Okay. Now I did see an interesting machlekes also talking about different types of animals. About animals that move so slowly, like a turtle. Exactly. Is there an isser to trap a turtle? Some say no. It's so slow. It's like the halacha is that an animal that is so tired from running, and there's no isser to trap it. Not the rice at least, because it can't move. If it's blind or it's sick, then it's still Issa D'Oraisa because it still tries to escape. But if it can't because it's lame or it's so weak that it can't move, then it's not. So some say a turtle is the same as that. Others say no, turtles, they do their best to hide even if they can't move fast, and it's still us, or at least they're abana trap. Anyway, but they're muksa anyway, so can't really pick them up. But anyway. Actually, 1 second, I'm just realizing this discussion is mamish negea from my neighbors. I never thought about it. I have neighbors who bought turtles, and the turtles like to escape. They have to bring them back. So
Some turtles are not slow though.
Yeah, I know. They point that out that some turtles are fast, but these turtles are not particularly fast. But yeah, it could be it's a problem.
You feed it first.
Sorry,
You feed it when you catch it.
what's the difference?
Well, you're saying before that.
I don't think
Scrap,
you
they should
will
feed
know.
it.
Well, no, that he was talking about a mouse. That's why it's a chiddush. But it's their pets. I'm sure they
I
feed it.
don't think she will never know the owner.
Never. But that doesn't make a difference.
Is it
It's
Jewish?
neither here nor there. Yeah, Jewish. Jewish family. I don't know.
What's the problem? I think
If those turtles escape on Shabbos, because they're always trying to escape, they don't. They have them in the front. There's like a pond in the front. There's a screen door, and if you leave the screen door open, they're out of there.
So what's happened?
bought them just for decoration?
I mean, decoration, fun. The kids play with them, whatever. I don't know.
Like real play with them?
Not like
Look at
play.
them.
Just like
Look at them.
hang out with them.
If he doesn't care if he's run away, you bring it back. But he doesn't care. You do mitzvah to bring back. But he doesn't care what's happening with that. So it's okay.
Hilchot Shabbat has nothing to do with what the animal thinks.
Not chayav,
It has nothing to do with the animal's opinion. We don't ask the animal's opinion.
But the owner, he doesn't care if he's running away. So he's not chayav.
He cares. That's why he wants to get it back. What do you mean?
But if he leave it like that, it's meaning he knows he's going away.
No, he forgot. He left the door open by mistake. He didn't do it on purpose. Sorry? They are muksa. They are muksa, actually. That's a separate problem. Okay. Let's talk about trapping flies. You spoke about it before.
Yes.
So a fly in a box, in a drawer, in a container, a shelf, or whatever, is a machlekes. Some say it's an rabbanon to close the drawer or the container or whatever, even though it's hard to catch a fly within that container, but it's still possible. So it's like getting a deer into a big enclosure or a bird into a room. Others say, nah, to get a fly that's in a box is just as hard as to get a fly that's in a room. As soon as you open it up, it's out of there. It doesn't make it any easier to catch. And therefore they say it's not a problem at all. Well, not on purpose. If you want to close the box anyway, because the flies are there, they say, so what?
You know, let's say you want to actually trap the flies in the box to be able to put them outside and let them go.
No. No. The opinion that's lenient is not talking about a case where you want to trap them. It's talking about a case where you just want to close the box and they're there. It says, yeah.
I think they have still a hole that if they find the hole, they can come out.
Right. That it says is okay.
Like this kind of a box and if they like outside and let them go.
Yeah.
So you put him in the room, the maid room. It's still in the obvious. I mean, it's a living room. It's a bathroom. Can you lead him to another room to close that door?
Fly? How are you going to lead the fly?
Can you lead that? No. Make a room like this. I don't know.
If he listens to you, you can try.
Yeah. You're allowed to chase, let's say, a dog or a cat with wounded into your backyard and close the gate and take care of them after Shabbos.
For the neighbor one?
They cannot run because let's say it's a wounded. So basically it's a cat. But you're allowed to chase.
You're talking about a domesticated one or like a wild one?
Let's say a dog and a cat.
One that listens to you or doesn't listen to
No,
you?
no, it's not yours.
Not yours.
But they shall feel mercy because let's say they got wounded in the leg or something like that. That's curious.
I don't know. It's possible. The truth is, I didn't get into this.
Backyard is still big, but just they're not like staying on the street.
Right. I didn't get into this, but really, when it comes to animals, there's three categories. Besides mina nitzad and not mina nitzad, there's another three categories. One is animals that are totally wild. One is animals that they don't listen to you, but at night they come back to sleep to their owners. And then the third one is regular domestic animals, cats, dogs, they listen, they don't run away. So if it's the second type, even though it doesn't listen to you, but it has a place where it goes every night, so it has like some kind of domestication, so then it's only Nisad Rabbanan. And if you put it into a backyard where it's not really contained so easily, so it's like a double Rabbanan, and you're doing it for Tzaba L'chaim to be able to heal it, Yesh Makom Lomar. Yesh Makom Lomar that it's mutter, but I don't know. Okay, so coming back to the flies, the Maisa, the Taz says, he'll give you a heter. The heter is Suffolk Psik Reisha, which is a famous Taz. Everybody knows that there's something called Davar She'eino Miskaven, which is something that may or may not happen. Everybody also knows that a Psik Reisha is something that's for sure going to happen, and that's also. What about a Suffolk Psik Reisha? You're not sure if it's going to happen or not, but if it's going to happen, it's for sure going to happen, right? Famous example, obvious example, you have your fridge. You don't know if you unscrewed the light bulb or not. You don't know. If you did, it's not going to turn on. If you didn't, it's for sure going to turn on. There's no doubt about the present. The doubt is about the past. You don't know about a certain issue. So wave flies, and if there's any flies inside, maybe they're there, maybe they're not. It's not your problem. It's a Suffolk situation. There may be flies there, and if they're there and you're catching them, but maybe not. Suffolk Daban you make, but not if you could figure it out. So if you wouldn't hold the Taz, maybe you should, check inside the box and wade all the way in and clear it out. Taz says, no, don't bother. As long as you can't see them, Suffolk Psik Reisha. And of course, there's also the opinion that says it's not considered trapped in a box at all. So he's lenient. All right, let's go back to the deer in the house. If a deer gets into your house, if you're smart, you'll get rid of it right away because he's just going to wreck the place. But let's say you want the deer very badly. You want to keep it. So if the door is open, you can't close it. If the door is closed, you're allowed to lock it.
You're allowed.
Once the door is closed, you're allowed to lock it because exactly. L'hoisef shmira al shmirase is allowed. If somebody is already standing in the doorway, you're allowed to stand next to him in the doorway.
But not close.
And if he leaves, you're allowed to stay. Even though right now you're the one that's blocking, but when you came, you didn't. When you came, you didn't trap it, and now you're not doing an act of trapping. You're just staying there. You're just guarding a trapped animal.
If you will go, he will go away.
Okay, so what?
Because of that.
There's no obligation to let trapped animals free. If you have trapped animals, you don't have to let them free on Shabbat. There's no such obligation.
Because you're standing at the door.
I'm standing. I'm not doing anything. I'm standing. He's trapped. I'm not
So what's
trapping
the
him. He's
heter-
already trapped
What's the heter for the second guy to keep staying and not to give Bichaya?
because he didn't trap him. He's guarding a trapped animal.
So the first one is still Chayav.
First one is Chayav.
He's not there anymore.
Okay, fine. So what?
That's really not considered trapping the room.
Sorry?
The deer considers trap.
What is?
The deer. It's
The
already locked in the room.
Yeah.
You're allowed to put a rope on him and tie him to, so he's not gonna.
That's a
Once he's
machlokes.
already trapped,
No, that's a machlokes. If a deer or any wild animal is in a small space, are you allowed to actually grab it? Besides the fact that it's muktzah, some say, yeah, other than the muktzah fact, it's already trapped. Some say no. Even in that space, actually holding it
Trap it.
is derabanan trapping. Yes.
No.
Because you're
If the deer,
on Shabbos, it's gonna be making a mess.
So let him go.
if the deer go,
That's not a heter.
if the
Sorry.
deer, if the deer go into my home,
Yes.
my dog jumped on the front. My dog is barking on the front door. Now the deer cannot go outside, but the dog is trying to go to the deer, but he's staying in the door. So now you allowed to come to the door?
Yeah, why not? Dog is like a person.
Okay. So you're not chayav.
No.
Rabbi, so we had this kind of trapping within a trapping issue here at Shul.
Oh, really?
It's still,
Yeah.
with a bug.
Not a
with
deer, I
bug.
hope. Yeah.
Oh, not with a
Yeah.
So we're sitting at one of the tables during Kiddush, and someone realized that there was a cup like this.
Right?
And a fly was inside of it.
Upside down like that?
Yeah. And the fly was in there, so everyone was like, pick it up, you let it go, you're there, it's trapped, it's untrapped, and all that. So the whole big thing. So we just
And-
left it alone.
So the halacha is
Mhm.
there's no prohibition to untrap. Trapping has no opposite. It's not like writing that you can't erase and building you can't destroy and sewing you can't tear. Trapping has no opposite. You're not allowed to trap it, you're allowed to untrap. Understand?
Right. But by taking off the cup, are you going to cause it to be retrapped in a way?
Why?
I'm just, if
Take out the cup, it's free.
within the domain, it's already trapped.
Yeah, but you're not doing that. You're letting it free into the room.
And then if it leaves, it leaves.
It's not your business.
Is the same with the if it's the chop with the clumps, you're allowed to open it to release the animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Study that.
Any leniency for temporarily?
What means temporary?
Any leniency for temporarily removing trapping a fly to remove it outside? Say we're eating and there's a bunch of flies and it's annoying, so the first reaction is to
What's temporary?
take it, put it in a cup, toss them outside.
So we do have the concept of trapping to prevent tsar haguf, like an animal that will actually cause pain, even if it's not lethal pain, but animals that can have a serious bite. So you're allowed to trap them. According to those that hold a melacha she'en sof hagufa, you can trap them regular
So
because you don't really need them. According to the Rambam, that says the melacha she'en sof hagufa, you have to trap them with a shinui. But that's like a serious harm. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah.
Really, you got mosquitoes, Rabbi.
I don't think there's that there for a fly.
You got mosquitoes. You got mosquitoes in the room, and you got bite, and after bite, and after bite, it's our Shabbat. He's upsetting you for all Shabbat, and you got all your hands bubble like that.
If
The mosquitoes don't hunt, you kill them, so what are you gonna do? Kill it?
That's why I'm asking the Rabbi.
You can't kill.
Huh?
I mean,
You get killed?
No.
So the rabbi will tell you.
Now,
I didn't know before.
what it says about animals that bite is that you can't trap them in general, and you can never kill them. But if they're actually biting you,
Yeah.
or if they're very close to biting you, like they're on your,
You have already
Well,
shot me. You're about to get
yeah,
hands. Keep going.
yeah.
you're allowed to take them and throw them away. Can't kill them.
How can you take mosquitoes and
That I don't know.
What do you mean? You get it with your hand.
You're not allowed to kill it.
Rabbit is dead.
You're not allowed to kill it.
In other
If you
words,
can take it and toss it without killing it, then you're allowed.
well, isn't that swatting it? But that's kind of swatting.
And net,
No,
I can do it
No,
with
it
a
says
net.
clearly only if it's like close to you.
What if it just went from my wife and now I see it going to me? Saying it was just on somebody, I told him to move his hand, and now it was just biting someone.
Or the baby, Rabbi. It's dangerous.
But it's not just swatting it. Moving it away is just swatting.
Net, can I do it with a net, Rabbi? Like a fishing net?
Grabbing and tossing it on someone.
Fish.
Because I think if you get it, you're
What do you mean by fishing net?
You know, the small
No, no.
net, but then
I
you can
grab
take it
the skin
inside
left and right.
No.
and then take it go outside.
No?
Over there.
The baby is here, 50s.
עוד מעט, אני אגיד עוד.
Wait.
The baby is 50.
How about setting up the trap? One of those. You can't trap. No, but one of those sticky things or something that on Shabbos shouldn't be an issue.
Before Shabbat?
Give me a second.
Even on Shabbat. No, not the zapper. Not the zapper. There's that paper, I
A
think.
line, the
The
long
sticky paper?
thing.
Yeah, the sticky paper.
And the stick?
I don't know if they have catch mosquitoes. They catch mosquitoes.
I have no idea.
They for sure catch flies.
Maybe they do. But is that
Here's what he says about a flea. יש מתירין לצוד פרעוש אפילו מעל בגדיו מבפנים, כיוון שיכול לצערו שם, ואפילו מעל חלוקו מבחוץ, מותר לצודו, כיוון שהחלוק הוא סמוך לבשר, ואפשר שיבוא הפרעוש משם לבשר ויעקצנו. So what's the getter of סמוך לבשר? Here he says on the chaluk, like it has to be mamash on your shirt.
It says it can get from there to the bottom on your skin.
Before the ground.
It can get through your.
No, it'll go underneath. It'll go underneath.
Yeah.
That means through. It means it's close.
Yeah.
Exactly. It means it's close. So mosquitoes, maybe they're close even if they're far, but it's hard to say. I don't know.
No, but once they're on your body,
Once they're on your body, yeah,
once they're on your body, you can take them and toss them outside.
that you can do.
He said that.
I could even trap them. Toss them outside.
Any way to trap them.
As long as you don't kill them.
No
Oh.
kill, no
And
kill.
once they've left my
Can't kill.
beged, meaning let's say it's on his shoulder, so I go to his shoulder and I get it. I try to get it. I missed the first time. It went away, and I grab it.
לא
Second
פשוט,
time's out.
I don't know. לא
Second
פשוט,
time's all of a sudden,
לא פשוט, I don't know.
You
I don't
not
think so.
consider like taking from one ratio to another ratio, throwing something out.
You have issues.
In your backyard.
Let's say if you're in an apartment building, the 20th floor, and you just out of the window, or the 4th floor, so we consider as
Out the window on the 20th floor is a makam patur.
okay, 2nd floor, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Above 10 tvachim is a makam patur. Within 10 tvachim of the Shus Rabbim is a shaila. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm not sure. But you-
Okay, remind please if you Baruch can remind me to ask you. A
Yeah.
person going on a cruise and he wants to get off the Shabbos on a certain island.
Okay.
All right. David says the Rebbe spoke very strongly against hunting just for sport. Okay, I hear it. The Alter Rebbe also speaks very strongly. I don't remember that the Rebbe spoke about it, but okay.
What's the thing about the flea being just on the skin but not biting? Is he still allowed to remove it or shoot or pick it up and throw it, or does he just have to brush it off?
If the flea is on him or on his garment close to his flesh, you're allowed to take it and throw it out.
Just the same as if though it was biting him.
It's actually a machloikis, actually. Some say only if it's biting you. Some allow it even if it's close. And the halacha says, actually, I forgot to read this. The halacha says that if you can get rid of it easily without actually taking it, then you should. But if it's difficult, then you can take it with your hands and throw it out.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes, thanks for pointing that out. You got that? He just pointed out that what I said is actually a machlokas. The thing that you're allowed to take it with your hands is actually a machlokas. Some say it's only if it's actually biting you. Some say if it's close to biting you, it's also mutter. And the psak. I did that? Okay, fine. Okay.
No, but then you said, how do we finalize that if it's on your body? Right, so what if it's
If it's only on your body or on your garment, but not actually biting, Alter Rebbe says you should better just flick it off, like not actually take it, but like flick it off. If you can't, then I'm saying.
That's not trapping.
No, it's not. That's what he says. That's what you should not. You shouldn't trap it. If you have no choice, because it's hard to get to, then you can grab it. Okay. You just asked something, so I want to answer that. If you is trapping a continuous isser, or is it a one-time isser? So simple, what we've been learning is that it's a one-time isser. Because if you're standing in the doorway already, you don't have to leave. So we see it's not a continuous isser. On the other hand, the Mishnah Berurah says that it's mashma from the lashon of the Rishonim that if you trapped already on Shabbos, you should let it go. You should let it go. So that's a chiddush, because usually, I mean, you did it already. So what does it help? I mean, person cooked.
So if you let it go like you're sorry,
a person tied. You should untie. I mean, it's done. What's the point?
Would that be another issue? That would be another issue.
That would be another issue. Yeah, here untrapping is not an issue, but makabe patish. There's no opposite of makabe patish. We said that. There's the opposite of baina. There's no opposite of makabe patish. Does it say you have to reverse it? I'm sorry.
We did on Shia. It's like every minute considered issue, so you have to remove it.
Exactly, because shehiyah is a gzeira that shema yechata. You might stoke the coals. So every second that it's a forbidden shehiyah, it might lead to that. But here it's a chiddush that it would seem like you're already trapped. What's the point of letting it go? But the Mishnah Berurah has a diak in the lashon of the Rishonim that seems that you're supposed to let it go. It's a chiddush. Okay.
So because you have to let it go, it means it's masha.
I don't think so, because Lamaisa, we said if you're in the doorway already, you don't have to leave.
Is any other issue besides Shia but you learn so far that it's issue with masha? If you're opening
this is
your garden and it's more in the grass. So masha?
maybe there, yes, because you caused it, and the more it's doing it, it's more something that you caused. But the simple example is cooking. If you put something in the oven, you certainly have to take it out if it's not cooked yet. Once it's cooked, but until it's cooked.
Besides the cooking, cooking is very clear. Is any other?
Lay it down. Anything that takes time, obviously, until it's finished, you should stop it. Obviously, saveya. Yeah.
So if he takes the thing out of the oven that he put in there that he shouldn't have put in there, so has he transgressed anything? If he's undone it?
Not deraisa, if he takes it out before it cooks.
Uh-huh.
Derabanan, if he did part of the cooking, but not deraisa. Okay. Now I want to talk a little bit about shnayim sha'asa uhu. Shnayim sha'asa uhu. If two people do a malacha. This is really relevant to any one of the 39 malachas, but he brings it in here. It's because he brings it in here.
Like one put the fire and one put the
No. Together they did one malacha. Together they did one malacha. That means
like to move big door, like we study about that. You cannot do it by yourself.
Either you can or you can't. Those are the issues. If it's a very big, heavy object, and you can only do it with two people, so then, if you do it with two, you're chayev, because that's the normal way. If it's something that could be done with one, and two people do it, then they're pater.
Both of them pater.
Both of them pater, deraisa, because they neither of them did a full malacha.
It's the same thing with the ani, with the out the door, like with the balabait and the ani.
There they each do half.
Yeah, but
there they each do half. Here I'm talking about together they do the whole thing. Not that one does half.
Here and also.
No, over there it's also pater if one does the akir, one does the hanacha, because they each do half. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a case where together they both pick it up like that and put it down. That's not the same case. It's a different case. But in any case, that is aser d'Rabbanan. Now, what if one can do it on their own and one cannot do it? One strong, 1 weak. Then what?
The strong is chayav.
The Maisa that did it together.
But they still did it.
They did it together, but the strong guy could have done it on his own. The weak guy couldn't have. Whoever asked, I don't know who asked. You say both patur. You say the weak is chayav. Anybody else?
But it's going to go average person, so it depends.
Anybody?
If it's two patur and the other one, why it should not be also patur? Doesn't matter.
The case was two people doing it, but it could have been done by one.
It could have been done by one of them. One of them is strong. He could have done it on his own. The other guy couldn't.
I don't think that's still high.
Who? Who's chayav?
That's the question.
Uh-huh.
My question is, if the only one who will do it by himself, he will be chayav?
The answer is the one who could have done it by himself is chayav. The other one is pater. Why? Because the one who could have done it by himself, he didn't really need the other guy. The other guy is called the Messiah Ein Boy Mamish. He's a Messiah. He's Ein Boy Mamish. His doing couldn't really do it, so he's like not important. The guy who couldn't have done it, he couldn't have done it himself anyway. He can't be chayav. You understand? So what he did is not important.
Rabbi, maybe in that point he was not strong enough, like he think he can do it, and the other one little bit.
No, we're talking about he could have done it. We tried it, we tested it, we could have.
Sometimes we wake up,
Yesterday morning I had this situation. It was Shnayim Shasahu Mamish. 6:45, I'm getting ready to go to shul, and my neighbor calls me. I always answer her call because her husband is 97 years old, and her husband fell, and she can't get him up. So I went over there. He's 97 and blind. He basically sits on a chair all day and all night. Besides going to the bathroom, he gets up and he goes to the bathroom. And this time, unfortunately, he fell on the way to the bathroom. So I couldn't get him up, even with their help. And I was afraid to squeeze, break ribs. So I called another neighbor, woke him up, he got out of bed, came over, and we managed to schlep him up. It was definitely Shnam Shasu. We couldn't have done it on our own. It was pretty scary.
Damaging.
Yeah. It was pretty scary.
She need to buy a chair. You saw that chair? You know,
No.
like?
No.
It's like a five or six pieces. He put one metal here, one here, one there, and the machine they pick him up. I saw it. It's amazing. I mean, the person is laid down on the floor, cannot move, and the old lady, she cannot do anything. So she put one metal, like a piece of metal. Like
While
this.
the guy is laying down, it'll pick him up?
Yes, she put one metal and right, one and left. Between the legs here, another connection in it for non-metal. You know, it's like a chair. They're building a chair like this, and then the machine zzz, to pick him up like this. It's amazing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. That's also true.
There is no halakha for Shabbat right now. The rabbi was
Okay.
Just to wake up sister.
But Rabbi, he mentioned Shabbat. The sick man, he is in the floor, and he can, God forbid, you know, he can do the electronic. How they do with the handicap and the electric? How they do going to see that?
I never understood.
You never saw that?
How do they do it?
I don't know.
So this
It's one of those things. It's one of those things that has a hechsher and everybody uses it, but nobody knows how it works.
It's the same thing. The sick man, he's falling on the floor.
I mean, the principle is like it's supposed to be a grama, a double grama. It's built in that when you're flipping the switch, it doesn't actually make it go. It makes something else go, which makes something else go, which makes it go.
Shabbos switch. Shabbos.
Exactly, except that because it's for a handicapped person, so they're basically mekel. Okay, it's getting late, but we have 2 minutes. So, shchita is an av malacha. What do they do in the Mishkan?
Starting with
Shchita, yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't it Shem Shasua?
We didn't finish it? That was it.
The whole Shem Shasua?
That was the whole Shnam Shasu. If two could do it, if they need to both do it, it's chayiv. If they both can do it separately, it's pater. If one can and one can't, the one who can is chayiv, the other one is pater. That's Shnam Shasu.
So practically speaking, when do we use Shem Shasua, or when should we? What can we use Shem Shasua to help? Anything we've learned so far that we can make it mutter with Shem Shasua?
Interesting question. I don't remember if I've come across a case where we say, do it in Shnam Shasu. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we find the Kalach Hayad with the Drabanan, with the Psik Reisha, you know what I'm saying? We find these configurations. I don't know if I've come across that.
So Shem Shasua is only gonna be good for you if both of you have to do it. No.
On the contrary, when both of you could do it separately.
Right. When both of you could do it separately. When both of you could do it separately.
I just remember hearing, this is totally without any basis and anything that I've seen. I just remember hearing on the weeks that the Erev was down, and people only found out when they were in shul already, and they had babies. So I remember hearing people saying, okay, so you do from one rishus to the other, it doesn't help to do less than 4 amos at a time. You know, once you're in your rishus harabim, you can do 4 amos at a time. You know what I'm saying? Less than 4 amos, switch off 2 people back and forth. You know what I'm saying? If you need to. But what about cross the threshold? How do you cross the threshold? So if it's something like a key, I mean, you throw it in Kalach Hayat or whatever. But if it's a baby, can't really do that. So I remember hearing people saying that you do Shnam Shasu, like 2 together, carry them in.
But don't say anything. Don't say there's no error.
That's, yeah.
beschleunigt, genau, the massive.
Yeah. Maybe it's better.
Why is Shnayim Asa Uhu to bring them from Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayachid? Is that, I mean, how's that different than trapping? The trapping case of the deer.
It's not different. It's trapping a deer. If two people trap a deer and one person could have, that's also a drabana.
Oh, but in the case here, it's one just sat down. When he sat down, the deer still could have gotten out. So when the guy sits down, then there's no problem.
If two people at the same time walk into the doorway, let's say the deer is in the house, the deer could get out through the doorway. One person could block the doorway himself, and instead two people at the same time go and block the doorway. That's an example of Shnayim Shasu, in which case it's Asr, but not Da'iraisa.
That's Asr, or Patarapal Asr, you said.
It's Asr Rabbanah, but not Da'iraisa. No, the point is, by the baby, it's not a lechatchila thing. You wouldn't do it in the first place, but in a case where you're stuck, you know what I'm saying? When you realize when you're in shul, or even worse, when you're in the street, you need to get in somehow. So it's like a b'diavad. That's where I've heard this had to be used, but I don't want to say that it's for sure because it's not. I haven't looked into it. All right, Rabbi.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
I still don't understand the case. You know how
the case is you're walking.
How it could be mutter.
You're walking in the street on Shabbos, and you realize that the Erev is down, and you're with your baby. What do you do?
Drop the baby. Just kidding.
What do you do? So if you have if you have somebody else with you, you switch off and you walk less than 4 amas each one. You know what I'm saying? Each one less than 6 feet. Switch back and forth, back and forth. Okay, if you're by yourself, you stop every less than 4 amas. You go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. Fine.
What's the mile of giving it to somebody else?
Yeah, I get that part, but the problem is how do you bring him in the house?
I'm going to explain that in a second. The mile of giving to somebody else is that when you stop for the sake of going, that's a shaila, because some say that's not really called stopping. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
So that's why it's a shaila. It's better if you have somebody else.
But there, you're also stopping for the sake.
You're not stopping. You're not giving to somebody else. You're giving to somebody else. It's not that you stop. You're not
continuing, but you're walking with nothing.
Exactly. You don't have it anymore.
It's dangerous, when you walk in passenger road, baby,
dangerous.
back and forth, while you walk.
How old is your oldest baby? Your youngest baby?
Mine is Baruch Hashem, plus bar mitzvah.
Okay, when 13 years ago you would have been able to.
That's why I believe in a neighbor of the Aviru, so no problem.
It's not dangerous. Anyway, the question is what to do when you cross the threshold, because you cannot, the person that's carrying it across the threshold is doing an Isser D'Oraisa, it would seem. Maybe not D'Oraisa, maybe D'Rabbanan, depending on what you hold about our public domains. But how do you minimize that Isser? So one of the ideas was to do it with 2 people together, 2 people carrying at the same time, so that it goes down one level from being Torah level to being the rabbinic level.
He said, you stop, give the baby, or you don't stop.
You can stop, why not?
You can stop, but it's a stop. So what's
less than 4 amot?
Supposed to stop.
Less than 4 amot.
Yeah. So one person he cannot do it because of the stopping. So I didn't get it.
If you only have one person, then he can also stop every 4 amot. But it's better if you switch off every 4 amot. One person, the other, back and forth every 4 amot.
Yeah, but it says already if it's Rishut Harabim.
Yeah.
But if you take it from the shul, just the whole time to carry the baby at the same time. They don't have to stop.
Two carrying the baby at the same time in the Rosh Hashanah? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. Some say, some say,
And Shtam Shasu would work if you have that case if you have a.
again, not lechatchila, but
Okay,
just
you know
stuck.
that there's an Arab on the way back or somewhere. So
Rabbi,
you'd be able to both of you push the carriage.
The less than 4 amas each is better because that way you're not doing any isser. Shnam shasu, you're doing an isser. Less than 4 amas is not an isser.
so
Shtam Shasu, why doing it?
so
Shnam shasu is also darbanan.
So what if it's a regular one?
Okay, so it's a double darbanan.
It's not a.
It is less, but it's still a double darbanan.
It's not a mutter.
No, double darbanan is not mutter. I'm saying you can't do stam and double darbanan.
Something that's darabana and you do Shtam Shasu doesn't make it.
It doesn't make it heter gomer.
What does it make it? No, because I heard it did. It does make it heter gomer.
I just came across in the Dirshu today. He has a diuk in the Mishnah Berurah where he proves that a double darabanan you could do if it's not intended, even though it's a psikresha. Psikresha b'darabanan some hold is mutar gomer, right? The Shumas Hadesha. But the Magen Avraham holds it's not. Mishnah Berurah passes on Magen Avraham. But if it's a double darabanan plus it's a psikresha, then he allows. So I'm saying you see a stam, a regular double darabanan, he doesn't allow. No, in Shus Rabin you can switch carrying back and forth. I'm talking about when you're carrying across the threshold, across the petach. You hold the baby together. You hold them together, two people together. All right.
This one you have to do together.
After you can switch off. It's better to switch off because you're not doing an isser.
What if it's a stroller?
Even easier.
No, not the petach. We're carrying to the house.
What do you
have
mean?
to push less than 4 hours, and then the other person.
Yeah,
push
perfect.
Less than 4 hours.
Perfect.
There would be no difference.
Yeah.
And why is pushing a carrying? Because it's.
Yeah, pushing is carrying. That's discussed in the Gemara. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. I was hoping to finish 316 tonight, but we'll have to finish tomorrow night. I mean, not tomorrow night. Next week after Tisha B'Av, hopefully in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. And we'll do 317 as well, Mitzvah Shem, tying and untying.
That's